Got to close on Canelo-Chavez because it's the biggest fight of the year coming up.
It is the biggest fight of the year. It's so big where you can't get a ticket unless you pay probably triple for it outside on somebody's street corner. But nevertheless, this is a fight amongst Mexican pride, who become now the spokesman in boxing and who they follow, like Chavez Sr. and the Mexican heroes that came before Chavez. This is big stake. This is not just a match of two Mexican fighters. You have Chavez, who has a historic challenge to fill the shoes that I don't believe will ever be filled when it comes to representing your culture the way Chavez Sr. did in boxing.
Not even by Alvarez? Can fill those shoes by Chavez?
Alvarez has to beat more than just one fighter that night, which I believe he will. But he will beat Triple G when he fights him. And maybe one more historic name and fight that might come up from a weight division or might be hanging around that we're not even mentioning because the talk is that the two guys or three, then he will convince a lot of people that he deserves to be in that conversation. The great thing is he has those names to be able to now deny him of that. And so when you have real live, not even opponents, fighters that can derail that historic build-up, to be able to say he belongs in that legendary Hispanic Mexican heritage of the greats. That's a big deal. But right now, what we have Alvarez, we have Canelo Alvarez being able to sell out stadiums, being able to what? Being able to captivate what Chavez Sr. did, and other fighters, whether it was in the 50s, 60s, 70s, and the 80s and 90s, he has an opportunity to now take it even further by beating a legend's son. Stopping him. I mean, sky's the limit where his legacy can end up. But it has to start from a foundation that it already started from the Mayweather, which I believe was his best schooling of hard knocks, Harvard education in boxing.
You said it was his master's degree in the ring.
It was his master's.
PhD.
It was his PhD. And when you watch fights after that, I seen him take some of the moves out of Mayweather's portfolio and use it to his own benefit. A lot of fighters can't take a style and add it to theirs and still be successful.
And you mentioned the risks and how you took risks in your career. What about Canelo? Is he getting credit? He's moving up 10.5 pounds. He's not going to be the bigger man in the ring, which he usually is. Do you think he's getting enough credit for that?
I think he will. I think he'll get enough credit, especially when his fight be a fight where he's going to have to dig deep down because it's about pride. And I think that Chavez is going to have a lot more to fight for just because a guy in front of him. This is for Mexican pride. This is for, I'm the guy, not you. So it's a lot of I want my country attention to be on me and not you. There's a lot of not actually jealousy, but a lot of envy of who's going to be the face, who's going to be the face going forward in a really, really supporting culture. So there's a lot on the line here, but Canelo has to be aware of these factors that can make a guy like Chavez fight one way and now come in and fight a way where he hired a nutrition coach, he hired people to get him physically ready. So that automatically tells anyone that he's coming in here to win. And there's a lot of pressure on both of them. But it's more pressure, I believe, on Chavez to be able to make his plan reveal as victorious. This would be a really will erase his defeats in a way of not off record, of course, but in people's mind. This fight is big. This is a big step up, a big moving forward, and people forget about, not coming out for a fight where he didn't come out and quit on the stool. That get erased, and fights like this will erase those fights.
This is my last one. I have to ask the professor a technical question. Canelo, he's a terrific fighter, but to nitpick, are his feet holding him back at all? Because they don't seem quick enough to get on the bike and circle, but he doesn't seem to cut off the ring a whole lot either, even though he's winning all his fights. What do you think of that? Is that holding him back at all?
Fortunately, he didn't got to worry about that with Chavez.
Or Triple
or Triple J. But let me tell you something. Just like you see, they have smart cornermen and smart handlers that will see the same thing and already seen the same thing. It's just now, how do you fix it? How do you alter it? How do you camouflage it if you can't fix it? If it's a habit and you got this far, you don't try to change. What you try to do is alter some things. You try to camouflage certain things. And you know what? I think that will be the key. But, when you look at technique and you look at flaws, you got to understand that sometimes those flaws can be beneficial if you use them in the right way, because just like you see them, I see them, right? That might be something that can draw a guy in and then take it away from him, because sometimes you can play that huckleberry. You can play that, they know I got a slow right hand, I'm going to throw the slow right hand, but I'm going to throw the left hook faster. So it can be a catch-22. It can be a surprise, an element of surprise. And those type of situations, you can't really train for, and you can't really strategize how you handle it until you handle it. Sometimes you just gotta I'm gonna kick your ass tomorrow and be here tomorrow. You gotta be there, right? You just gotta get prepared for it and hope that you be able to deal with it. I think that's the case when you fight guys like that.
Hey Bernard, what did you make when Canelo and Chavez made that bet to put up their whole purse? Because you had a bet with Joppy, and a lot of people felt that Joppy took an extra beating just to get that extra 50,000.
He didn't take extra beating. His corner let him take an extra beating.
So what do you think?
They probably wanted some of that money.
Yeah. So what did you think about betting a whole purse? Would that have put that fight in a dangerous
they called that
spot?
off.
They did call it off.
Let me tell you what happened.
Yeah. Chavez Sr. did.
And I don't know what happened, but I got a little street smarts to understand when somebody run their mouth. We bet, man, it's bet. Now you lose, you can't pay the guy, you can't come outside no more. Not no Philly. The word got back to Daddy.
Yes.
Right? Yeah. You know who Daddy is? Yeah. Right? Senior. Right? Right? And Senior said, what? Right?
Yeah.
And he said, listen, you want to lose now or you want to lose May 6th? Off bet. Off bet. And that's what happened, because once the dust settled, when certain, not all, guys get to talking about betting, it'd be a lot of emotions. Bet.
Right.
But then somebody sit back and say, well, that's 10 grand or that's 50 grand. To me, for the mental strength and to have the fighter believe, at least think, the psychology, you gotta have psychology skills, because guess what? I would have never called that bet off. You don't call no bet off you was loud about it. Yep. And then say, oh, wait a minute, we're gonna call a bet. No. You don't cut a bet off, because now what you give Canelo is like, wait a minute. I said, okay. It's in the rules, you can bet what you want to bet. There's nothing stopping you from betting, so you can't use that excuse, right?
Especially in Las Vegas, right?
How you gonna off your bet in Las Vegas? You can't do that on the table, or they'd be handcuffing you and taking you upstairs. Let me tell you something. When you make moves like that, somebody's unsure.
Yeah.
That is leverage big time.
Especially when it's your dad.
That doesn't mean you don't train. That doesn't mean you don't take the fight serious. But why give a guy like Canelo Another reason to be confident.
Yeah.
When things get hard, I believe in my heart, once a quitter, always a quitter.